How's it going, everybody? I actually just recorded this video and my microphone cut out for some reason about 5 minutes into it, so I'm just going to go over it again, quickly recapping. So for this video, I feel like this is a very important, crucial update for Bitcoin specifically, and altcoins actually specifically, but this video is mostly only going to be about Bitcoin and where we're headed. So if you're familiar with the cycles count, we have a nice clear 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially even a fifth wave completing up here. As the bears see it, let's start with this one actually. As the bears see it, the cycle is technically over, and you would be looking for this expanded flat option to play out, where it technically invalidates if we go any higher past 133,000. You would be looking for this ABC expanded flat, and you would like to see a vicious crash down to the downside very aggressively in a C wave, in an impulse. You would be expecting around a 50% correction. Obviously, that would destroy the markets, altcoins specifically, but Bitcoin as well. You would get a very vicious crash. Given the entire context of the trend that we're in and where we most likely are going, as Elliot waves shows us the most probabilistic outcome, I don't like to give this specific count any weight. I understand why people see it this way. I understand why people like to develop bearish perspectives, but it just seems extremely improbable to me at the moment. As well as this is a bullish count. If we go down to the daily, people are expecting again a big crash to come, for another 1-2 to develop, or potentially the internal structure of our wave 3 and what would be orange. Anyway, they're looking at this ending diagonal. It's potentially a wave 1. This also, I don't give this any weight. Just doesn't have the right look as an ending diagonal, specifically because of this giant impulse to the upside within the wave 1, which I would much prefer to count as a ordinary wave 1 impulse rather than a wave 1 of an ending diagonal, specifically because of the size and how this did not even come down to reach the 0.382. Given both of those contexts, it kind of highlights actually how bullish Bitcoin actually is, and how how it is actually very common to see this type of price action in the middle of a wave 3, which in my view we are in. So all of this is very common for extensions to the upside. Now, it does make sense again why people try to find bearish counts, because it's quite difficult to do so. I don't really give this one any credit. It is the most likely thing to happen if there was a pullback, but it also is not very likely at all. Comparing to my main Elliot wave count, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are extending out into a giant wave 5 to finish the cycle, which will break 4-year cycle theory as it will extend in time. A big reason for this specifically actually is the altcoins. If Bitcoin was to see any type of correction between as little as 20% to as high as 50%, there would be no altcoin season at all in any sort of immediate future. That would probably actually signal something much worse going on in the economy, potentially even literally World War III, which could happen. But we would need that black swan type of event to even consider dropping Bitcoin 50% at this point, let alone 20% given the context of Elliot waves here. Now, because I think this is extending into a giant wave 5, specifically because our 1-2 here is such a large structure, we are going to need to have this play out as an impulse. Now, what would that look like? That matches our count as we would like it, is a nice clean impulse. Now, this is actually very likely to happen, and it also produces the right look. Specifically, our wave 3 target in orange after a multi-series stacking 1-2s, which is completely normal in the beginning and middle stage of a big wave 3, would take us right up to around 250,000. From there, you would prefer and like to see a nice sideways, potentially nice correction in your wave 4, coming down to the top of the trend line of, by the way, this 1-2 parallel channel extension trend line. As soon as you break out of this, confirms the wave 3, and as soon as you pull back to the top of it, potentially dipping into it, is most likely where wave 4s like to come. And at that point, we would extend up for one more move in the 5th wave, at minimum taking out the high of the wave 3. So this is why my target for the cycle here is actually going to be 250 to 300k. That is what I'm looking for. If we hop over to the index chart, we actually pull up the monthly here. Let's put on good old RSI. Let's change the color here real quick. This is Bitcoin's history from the beginning of time. And if you notice, every single cycle top, 2013, 2017, and our last one in 2021, we come up to the trend line on RSI and the monthly, which, by the way, this time would correlate to right around 85 to 88%. And why I really love this count is it also matches perfectly with the RSI and what we would be expecting. This is basically what you would want to see here play out. As you can see, this would create a large monthly bearish divergence on the chart when we trend up here for our wave 3, directly reaching the trend line on the monthly, technically putting in our technical top via indicators at around 250,000, pull back in that wave 4, and push up in that last 5th to take out the liquidity and the high of the wave 3 to complete the 5th wave extension impulse, which would create that new high, would grab the liquidity, grab all the extra buyers to then drag it down to the downside, finally have that large correction. This would coincide perfectly with all of Bitcoin's history, putting in cycle tops, and we would have a beautiful bearish divergence produced on the monthly time frame. There's a lot of context here on why the multi 1-2 count is just the most probable, given our history here. We are trending high very aggressively. Altcoins are almost catching up Ethereum specifically. I do think the altcoin season is literally right around the corner. Bitcoin dominance, if we just take a quick peek, has technically broken down from this long-term trend line, which in my view is the very beginning of alt season. Now 90% of this move has been started by Ethereum, which is how all altcoin seasons start. The big ones move first. I am confident altcoin season has started here, given the drop on dominance, given the surge on Ethereum. I am looking for this to continue very aggressively. Mind you, very aggressively. We are multi 1-2 building here. Given somewhere right around when we take out the all-time high again at 124k, and we start building these 3-4 3-4s and moving into a parabolic curve to the upside, I totally am expecting altcoins to just go absolutely ballistic. We will see the altcoin season here in this wave 3. We will also see altcoin season here in this wave 5 up here. I'm totally expecting that. I literally do not see anything else on the chart that suggests we're going to be doing anything but moving up extremely aggressively here. And altcoin season actually starting extremely soon. I am still expecting Bitcoin dominance to just plummet to the downside here aggressively. And there really is no other way to view this. It's just the most probable outcome at this point, given the context of what has happened before, the price action that has came, the size and magnitude of this new 1-2 structure here after having a 1-2-3-4 structure completed, confirming that we are looking for a large extended wave 5. I do believe cycle theory will end as we extend out here in time. I am expecting the bull market to end early mid-summer 2026. I'm expecting what everyone is hoping for to play out. It actually seems the most probable, and we are just about to start getting kicked off here in a very aggressive series of 1-2s building. Thank you for tuning in.